So, today we're heading over to the New York Rangers and giving an update as to one of their big trade chips. And it's interesting that he is a trade chip, considering he had signed a contract extension with the team just a few weeks ago, but today we are talking once more about Kaapo Kakko as he appears on several sources. We're going over onto Twitter, talking about some stuff that was discussed on Sports Illustrated, and we are also going out there and reading the David Pagnotta 4th period summer trade watch list. This is accurate as of July 5th, 2024. Big disclaimer, I am recording this on the night of July 11th, so if Kakko gets traded between now and the scheduled upload time of this video, then hey, that's my bad. We'll make another video talking about the real trade. But to start the conversation off, let's go over to the summer trade watch list of 2024. David Pagnotta does a pretty good job at summarizing the entire Kakko situation, as he is listed as one of the top 25 guys. He's listed at the 14th overall spot. Take a look at Kaapo Kakko, 23 years old, $2.4 million cap hit. The Rangers continue to dangle Kakko as trade bait, as GM Chris Drury looks to bolster his lineup for next season. As the Rangers have their eyes set on the 2025 Stanley Cup, Kakko's time could be running out as they look for upgrades. Teams reportedly linked include the Buffalo Sabres, Minnesota Wild, Anaheim Ducks, and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, we have made a video already talking about this particular rumor, but just to kind of, set the stage a little bit more, go over the overview once again. Kaapo Kakko, as a guy who had a very good season last year, he had 40 points in 82 games played, regressed to 19 points in 61 games played this year. His production kind of fell off a cliff, his effectiveness was way less, and a lot of Rangers fans were disappointed with the way Kaapo Kakko had played this previous season, especially when considering that Alexis Lafreniere, the guy taken the year after Kakko, actually looked amazing, and he bolstered up his production so much to the point that a lot of Rangers fans are okay with moving on from Kaapo Kakko. Give this guy, a second overall pick in 2019, another chance in a different organization where he can get more minutes, where he can get more playing time, and maybe more of a role, because for the Rangers and what they're trying to build, Kaapo Kakko in the top 6 just doesn't cut it, and he's not dethroning any of the other guys up ahead of him at this point. And even though he did sign a contract extension with the New York Rangers just for this season alone, there still is very good reason to believe that the Rangers are looking to shop him and find him a home. So, with the idea already tossed out there by the 4th period, the Vancouver Canucks, of course, being my favorite team standing out on this list, let's go out there onto Snark Messier, NYR Fanatics Twitter post from 2 days ago, because they wrote out here, as per Jacob Petruni of Sports Illustrated, the Calgary Flames, Sharks, and the Penguins are also interested in trading for Kaapo Kakko. Then there was a reply here, are you just throwing out random names with random publications? I wish I was that creative, John. And linked is an article where Jacob Petruni goes out there and talks about these teams being interested in Kakko. So now that we have some new teams involved, I wanted to talk about these in particular, because when it comes to the Pittsburgh Penguins, let's start out with them. I really like the idea of Kakko in Pittsburgh, not because I think he's an amazing player that's going to find his footing and become a monster, but because the Pittsburgh Penguins have already made it a habit of theirs in trying to revive these top-tier, top-drafted Finnish wingers into something more than they've been. We're talking, of course, about Jesse Puljujärvi, a guy that the Pittsburgh Penguins already took a chance on and already committed some time and money into. Puljujärvi is like in the exact same spot that Kaapo Kakko has been in. It's just he was drafted 3 years beforehand. Puljujärvi is signed on with Pittsburgh. He'll be playing out this upcoming season with them, most likely, assuming they don't trade him. If you have Puljujärvi and Kakko on a line, that just warms my hockey-loving heart so much. You don't even know. Like, it's not even just a fan service thing for the fans. It's a fan service thing for me. I like these guys playing on the same line a lot because, of course, the potential, if you had the best version of Jesse Puljujärvi, power winger, goal scorer, two-way presence, reliable, great passer, and you had the best version of Kaapo Kakko on that same line, two-way monster, plays with pace, dominates the play, and is efficient two-way defensively. Honestly, Puljujärvi and Kakko are very similar in more ways than one. So interestingly enough, thinking about them being on the same team, I like that particular idea a lot. Although, you know, I guess the Pittsburgh Penguins, they wouldn't really be thinking about getting a guy like Kaapo Kakko because of that reason. I mean, I'm thinking about it from a really stupid, like, wouldn't this be cool point of view. But if the Pittsburgh Penguins do see legitimate value in bolstering up Kaapo Kakko's stock in their organization, then okay, that's a great idea. Let's go out there and talk about the Flames as well. They've been acquiring a lot of young defensemen the past few months here. Miramanov, Hanley, Burstevich, Yermo, and then some of the other guys they had picked up on waivers and have been linked to in other trades. I mean, isn't it about time you go out there and start bolstering up the forward core instead? Kaapo Kakko to Calgary seems like a crazy idea, but it's one that is crazy enough that I think the Flames would be interested in trying it out. They need anything, dude. Anything to help bolster up this forward core and get them back to their scoring ways. I'm not saying that Kaapo Kakko is going to be the guy to do it, but having Kaapo Kakko, in my opinion at least, is better for the player, it's better for the organization because there's some hope to cling on to. Hey, this guy was second overall behind Jack Hughes. This guy was, in some people's minds at that time frame, the better prospect than Jack Hughes. We know Hughes did go first overall and Kakko went second, but there was still a big conversation to have about that in the 2019 draft season. So hey, Calgary, young team, rebuilding, sort of on the fly, retooling you could say. Huberdeau's kind of frustrated being a part of that kind of a team, but knowing his role in all of that. Nazem Kadri's sticking around too, although his name has been tossed out there in some trade ideas as well, so we'll see what happens with that. Is Kaapo Kakko a piece that, as a Calgary Flames fan, you are interested in? Also, let's talk about the San Jose Sharks. This is also a crazy idea, but I don't think it's for the same reasons. You know, I can understand if a team like Calgary or a team like Pittsburgh is able to get a young guy like Kakko and bring the best out of him and actually develop him properly. For San Jose, I think it's a little bit different, and I think it's a lot less likely that it actually works out. Mostly because I feel like with the Sharks, they kind of have everybody that they're developing at the same time, you know? Like, you have your Macklin Celebrinis, you have your William Eklunds, you have your Will Smiths, you have your Borderlows, your other defensemen that are going to be brought in there, and then you have Kaapo Kakko on top of that. Like, this whole team is kind of growing together. So having this idea of Kaapo Kakko being one of the many parts whilst being older, he would honestly be one of the veterans on that Sharks team. I don't like this idea at all. I would more so be accustomed to him being on a team with some more established forward veterans, like Pittsburgh, like even a Calgary, who is younger than Pittsburgh, but is still not as young as the San Jose Sharks are going to be. And then if you talk about some of the other teams, I mean, Vancouver is right up in there as well. They're a playoff contender, perennial playoff contender, maybe even a cup contender. I don't really think they're suffering from the same problem that San Jose has. If anything, they could be giving a lot more guidance to a guy like Kakko. Like, honestly, in my opinion, if Kaapo Kakko rounds out his game and becomes sort of like a winger version of JT Miller, that's like what the peak scenario could have been. Maybe it's not the peak scenario now, but back in 2019 when he was tearing up the Finnish Liga, yeah, that's kind of the player profile I would see out of Kaapo Kakko. So if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, Calgary Flames fan, Penguins fan, or a Sharks fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about this Kaapo Kakko update with these teams being involved and potentially wanting to get in on the Fantastic Finn services? Former second overall pick, now a major disappointment. Do you think your team has it in them to bring out the best in that profile and bring back what was a top 6 Kaapo Kakko? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel this would go down? What are your thoughts on the idea of a trade? What do you think it would cost? And if you're a Rangers fan, what do you want from any of these teams to actually make it work? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.